I am Eleanor Harper, a musician haunted by the ethereal echoes of a love that defies the boundaries of the living. It all began in the dimly lit halls of an abandoned theater, where my haunting melodies became a siren's call, drawing forth a ghostly figure that would intertwine its spectral essence with the harmonies I played. The theater, a relic of forgotten performances and faded glamour, became my sanctuary. It was in the echoing emptiness of its chambers that I discovered a connection that transcended the realm of the living, a love affair with a ghostly entity, whose presence manifested in response to the haunting melodies that poured from my violin. The first encounter unfolded in the stillness of the night. I played a mournful melody, my bow gliding across the strings with an otherworldly grace. As the final notes hung in the air like lingering spirits, a figure materialized, a ghostly silhouette that seemed to emerge from the very fabric of the shadows. His name, I would later learn through whispered secrets in the theater's echoes, was Oliver Gray, a pianist who had met a tragic end decades ago within the theater's crumbling walls. Oliver, now a specter bound to the haunting melodies that once defined his mortal existence, became a silent companion to my musical endeavors. The connection between us unfolded like a haunting waltz. Every time I played a melody that echoed with the weight of unfulfilled longing, Oliver's spectral form would materialize, his translucent fingers dancing across the keys of an invisible piano. The theater, once abandoned and desolate, became a stage for our otherworldly duet, a dance between the living and the spectral. As the nights turned into a ritualistic symphony, my feelings toward Oliver evolved beyond mere curiosity. The ghostly pianist, though bound by the confines of the afterlife, emanated a certain melancholic charm that tugged at the strings of my heart. Our connection, born from the shared language of music, transcended the limitations of the tangible. The haunting melodies became a conduit for our unspoken emotions, a love that unfolded in the ethereal space between the notes. Oliver's spectral presence, though silent in words, spoke volumes through the shared resonance of our musical communion. The theater, once a silent witness to its own decay, now resonated with the spectral echoes of a love affair that spanned the boundaries of life and death. Yet, as our connection deepened, so did the complexity of our entwined destinies. The spectral waltz we engaged in came with otherworldly consequences that manifested in eerie occurrences within the theater. Shadows seemed to stir with a life of their own, and the air thickened with a supernatural tension that mirrored the intricacies of our spectral dance. The ghostly manifestation of our love, once a source of solace, now bore the weight of a malevolent force. As Oliver's spectral form grew more defined with each musical encounter, so did the shadows that clung to the edges of his ethereal silhouette. The haunting melodies, once a testament to our connection, became a harbinger of something darker, a spectral dance that teetered on the precipice of the supernatural. In the depths of the night, when the theater's echoes whispered secrets only the shadows understood, I glimpsed the subtle transformation within Oliver. His once charming presence became tinged with an unsettling energy, an aura that hinted at a darkness lurking beneath the surface of our spectral love affair. The turning point came on a fateful night, as I played a melody that unraveled the seams between the living and the spectral. The theater, bathed in an otherworldly glow, seemed to breathe with a life of its own. Oliver's spectral form, now more defined than ever, materialized in the center of the stage. The haunting melody reached its crescendo, and as the final notes hung in the air, Oliver's spectral eyes met mine with a haunting intensity. The shadows that clung to his form, once mere whispers in the dark, seemed to writhe with a sinister energy, an energy that mirrored the darker facets of the afterlife. In that ominous moment, the theater's atmosphere shifted. The air became charged with a malevolent force that sought to bind our fates in a way I hadn't anticipated. Oliver, though still the ghostly pianist I had come to love, now harbored a darkness that eclipsed the haunting charm of his spectral presence. As the supernatural tension reached its zenith, the shadows within the theater coalesced into a looming figure, an entity that seemed to emerge from the very fabric of the spectral waltz we had danced. The malevolent force, born from the depths of the afterlife's mysteries, sought to entangle Oliver and me in a fate that transcended the harmonies of our love. A battle unfolded within the dimly lit theater, a clash between the spectral and the supernatural. The haunting melodies, once a source of solace, now became a battleground for forces that defied mortal understanding. Oliver, caught in the crossfire between the malevolent entity and the ethereal echoes of our love, struggled against the unseen forces that sought to bind his spectral essence. In the crescendo of the supernatural struggle, I found myself entangled in a dance that surpassed the boundaries of the living. The malevolent entity, its form a shifting mass of shadows, sought to claim Oliver's spectral essence for its own dark purposes. I, armed with nothing but the echoes of our shared love, became a reluctant participant in a struggle that unfolded in the shadows of the spectral waltz. As the theater's echoes resounded with the clash of supernatural forces, I played a melody imbued with the depths of my emotions. The haunting strains, a plea that transcended the boundaries of the living, echoed through the spectral space. Oliver, caught in the malevolent entity's grasp, responded with a spectral energy that mirrored the haunting intensity of our love. In the final notes of the supernatural symphony, a burst of ethereal energy enveloped the theater. The malevolent entity, unable to withstand the power of our spectral connection, dissipated like shadows in the morning light. Oliver, released from the entity's grasp, stood at the center of the stage, a spectral figure whose eyes held a gratitude that transcended the afterlife. As the echoes of the supernatural struggle faded, Oliver and I found ourselves standing amidst the remnants of the spectral waltz. The haunting melodies, once a battleground for forces beyond mortal comprehension, now resounded with a bittersweet beauty. The theater, bathed in the afterglow of the supernatural clash, seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, an exhalation that echoed through its dilapidated corridors. The aftermath brought a revelation, an understanding that our spectral love affair, though entwined with the mysteries of the afterlife, had weathered the storm of malevolent forces. Oliver and I, standing on the threshold of the spectral space we had navigated, faced a new beginning, an eternity unburdened by the shadows that had sought to bind our destinies. As the first rays of dawn filtered through the theater's dusty windows, Oliver's spectral form seemed to shimmer with a newfound luminosity. The haunting melodies, now a testament to our resilience, echoed through the empty halls, carrying with them the harmonies of a love that had transcended the boundaries of the living. And so, as the spectral waltz reached its final strains, Oliver and I embraced amidst the remnants of the supernatural struggle. The theater, once haunted by malevolent forces, became a sanctuary for a love that defied the limitations of the tangible. The echoes of our spectral connection lingered in the air, a haunting melody that spoke of a love affair, entangled in the complex dance between the living and the spectral.